Hey, welcome to Life After Nursing School. I'm your host, Caroline Danna, aka Nurse Coach Caroline, and I'm here to help you, the new nurse, thrive in your career. As a former nurse recruiter, nurse manager, and now your personal new nurse career coach, I'm obsessed with making sure you don't just survive your first couple of years at the bedside. I want you to absolutely rock them. From the challenges to the triumphs, I'll be right here with you, giving you the real-world advice and support that you need to shine. Whether you're in nursing school getting ready for life after, or you're already out there in nurse life feeling overwhelmed or even questioning your confidence, I've got your back. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and strategies that are just for you. We'll dive into everything from landing that dream nursing job to slaying imposter syndrome, and most importantly, how to keep that spark alive and stay the vibrant and amazing nurse that you are. So if you're ready to tackle the things nursing school did not cover, like how to build a career, trust yourself, and keep your passion strong, then get comfortable because we are about to dive in and make nurse life the best life. So happy you are here today. This topic is a little different, but I'm excited to share my thoughts on ways that we can romanticize self-care on our days off as a nurse or a nursing student or whatever phase of life you are in. I got this idea from social media. I've been watching a lot of reels on how to romanticize the regular everyday tasks in life, like cooking and bedtime routines. I also watched a recent interview of Taylor Swift on her new album, The Life of a Showgirl. And in this interview, she was sharing the meaning of some of her songs. One of her songs is called Opalite, which is one of my favorite. And Opalite is actually a man-made gemstone. She explained that the song is about forgiving yourself for things that didn't go the way you hoped for in life and realizing that happiness can also be man-made, like the man-made gemstone. And it was one of those moments where you realize that, wow, success and money don't necessarily guarantee happiness, and that happiness will not fall into your lap. And we actually play a factor in its existence in our life, especially our everyday life. So I thought it would be fun to talk about ways that we can romanticize mundane things in our life to bring back the simple joy that actually can be found in each task. Okay, before I dive in, you know what I'm going to say here. Please take a moment to rate and review the show, especially if you enjoy listening to Life After Nursing School podcast. At the time of this recording, I am at 4,997 downloads since I started the show in February. So I am almost at 5,000 downloads. That's really exciting to me. And I know there's so many podcast shows out there with millions of downloads. So it might not seem like a huge milestone for many people to think that some of these tips and insights have landed in a few people's ears. Up to 5,000 times is really incredible to me. Okay. I guess my voice can't be that annoying. I also want to mention here, you can also text me directly from your podcast platform, which is really cool. So I actually switched my podcast to be delivered through Buzzsprout, which probably doesn't mean much to you unless you have your own podcast. But the cool capability of that platform is that now you can text me on your podcast platform directly. Okay. So if you find like, wow, I love that episode, I want to let Caroline know, please send that to me. If you're like, hey, this gave me a good idea, maybe Caroline would want to talk about XYZ topic, send it to me. If you think of a guest that you'd love to have on my show or for me to interview or whatever that may be, or a certain expertise, please send me a message. I would love to hear what you're thinking. All right, let's dive in. Okay, so what does it actually mean to quote unquote romanticize something? I, of course, asked ChatGPT to help me with the explanation of this concept, and Chatty G said to romanticize something means to view it through a lens of appreciation, beauty, and intentionality, to elevate ordinary moments so that they feel meaningful and even magical. ChatGPT went on to say, it's not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing to see the good, gentle, or poetic side of what's already there. And to think of it as finding gratitude and softness in the ordinary. I thought that was honestly so beautiful. And I went further and asked ChatGPT for a definition of the word romanticize. And ChatGPT reported that this verb means to see your life as art, to treat rest, work, and growth as something worth savoring. After having this conversation with ChatGPT, I found it hysterical that I really like what romanticizing is all about because if you know me, I'm a very high energy person and I'm always jumping into the next task and multitasking. And honestly, many times I'm not paying attention to the things right in front of me. My mind is always going, the wheels are always turning. So for me to find romanticizing simple things in life and to basically slow down, enjoy, and be present during the everyday simple tasks is actually the opposite of who I am to my core. But maybe deep down, I'm craving this, which is why I think it's such a fascinating idea. I will say I have become actually good at romanticizing my commute to work. I'm about an hour from the college that I teach at and about just under an hour from the hospital that I take my clinical group to. So I have to wake up pretty darn early, and often I am on the road before the sun is up. But I really have learned to enjoy my commute because I've just made it an enjoyable experience. I prep for my commute by making, of course, a cup of coffee with my favorite creamer, which right now is the pumpkin flavored Chobani creamer. So good. I then get all my things, get into my car, and I turn my heated seat on. I pick a podcast episode or two, and then I hit play. I make sure to leave early enough so I am not rushing and I can just leisurely drive to work. And I also have really been enjoying taking the more scenic route to work. I don't even take the fastest route, which is mainly highway, especially now because as I'm recording this, it's October and the foliage in New England is absolutely beautiful. So I just take this nice leisurely drive to work and it's calming and relaxing. And it's funny because the other places that I need to be at or places that I'm going in my life, aside from my commute, I typically arrive on two wheels, sweating, probably having just like yelled at my kids to get in the car and we're late. And I'm usually 5 minutes late to just about everything else except work because I have like made it this enjoyable experience. So to flip the script and enjoy my long commute into work is like so refreshing and so different from typically how I'm arriving to anything else in my life. And it's really something that I've come to love and enjoy. So that's just a simple example of romanticizing an ordinary everyday task. It's now something, again, that I enjoy and I love, and I really don't mind. People will say, oh my gosh, that's a long commute. It honestly is very relaxing for me. So let's talk about romanticizing the simple self-care tasks in our everyday life. I also want to preface this with mentioning that romanticizing self-care isn't about expensive spa days. It's about treating ordinary rest as something sacred and aesthetically beautiful. Let's go through a day off and talk about how a typical day off of work can be romanticized into a day that is slow, intentional, nourishing, and calming. Let's start with slow mornings. Maybe you just worked 3 12-hour shifts in a row, or maybe it was just one shift, but it was a complete doozy, okay? That next day is your day off. And I think most nurses typically either overdo it on that day off or they rot on the couch all day. But I want to share what maybe that day could look like for you. And we can romanticize even just the basic things to recharge. So you wake up that next morning and you started off slowly without jumping out of bed and hitting the ground running, right? And how you're going to wake up is without an alarm clock. And you're going to move again slowly out of bed. You're going to take time to stop, open your blinds or pull up your shade for your window. You're going to look outside. You're going to get sunlight on your face. And maybe you're even going to take a couple minutes to stretch, all before checking your phone. Okay. We know the minute we check our phone, the cortisol starts pumping. We start a to-do list in our head. We're responding to people. We're looking at emails. Okay. So let's take the phone out of it for right now. Next, you head maybe to your kitchen or wherever you like to brew your coffee and you decide, okay, I'm going to make my coffee or maybe my morning tea like a ritual. I'm going to smell the aroma. I'm going to sip it slowly. I'm going to savor the taste. Maybe I'm going to put it in a cute mug. I'm going to make it the way that I like to make it. Add in a little extra of your favorite creamer. And you're going to take a moment to just hold that warm mug in your hands. Remember, no multitasking is allowed. We want to stay in the present. You're going to go ahead and put on some cozy music or a soft morning playlist. I personally love coffee shop music or acoustic covers. And you're going to take time to maybe do something reflective or spiritual, like journaling or praying or whatever it is that taps into your emotion. I like to even just spend a couple of minutes looking outside of my backyard. I know that sounds silly, but especially like I said right now, the foliage is so beautiful. The leaves are turning all these different colors. I have chickens. I have a lot of wildlife in my backyard. And it's sometimes just simply nice to spend a couple minutes really looking and seeing what's the day like. And also, maybe consider setting an intention for the day. Like today, I'm resting to refill my cup, not because I earned it, but because I actually need it. Since this day off is one of rest, we need to romanticize rest itself. And this might look a little different for everyone, depending on how each of us rest best. No matter how we choose to rest that day, your day may need to start with a reminder stating that resting is not being lazy, but actually healing and recharging. Romanticize staying in pajamas, reading a good book, or engaging in a simple, slow moving hobby like painting, needlepoint, or catching up on a favorite show, or honestly, doing absolutely nothing is fine. Light a candle, open a window, or even sit outside. This allows your nervous system to decompress. Trade thoughts that might be popping up in your head, like I should be doing something, or I have so much to do, or here's my to-do list. And switch those thoughts out for things like my body deserves this pause, or I'm resting now so that I can be fully productive later on. Next, let's romanticize nourishment. Make yourself a beautiful breakfast, even if it's just avocado toast, okay? Plate it like you are on vacation. Treat yourself like a queen or king. Making things aesthetically pleasing is actually a big part of romanticizing the everyday tasks. Next, eat slowly and taste everything. And this may sound cheesy, no pun intended, but when we are at work, especially in healthcare, in that like chaotic environment, we often scarf down food so fast that we don't even taste it. And honestly, it's because we're stressed or we don't have a lot of time to enjoy our meal, or we're also starving. Many times, even our headspace while we're taking our quote unquote break is not in a relaxing place. It's typically like, oh, I have to call this family member back. Oh, I forgot to bring a warm blanket to that patient. Or, okay, I got to run and see my new patient. Or I wonder how they're doing while I'm on break. It is not a calm thought process during our break. And honestly, nourishment is actually a big key to self-care. And one of the first things I think that we sacrifice to accommodate our busy life. So let's also take it a step further with nourishment and let's romanticize grocery shopping. We need to go at a time that we have time in our day, right? We need to be able to walk at a leisurely pace, take our time, maybe compare different options, look at the produce, not run through it with a checklist and, sort of eyes on the prize mentality. I also recommend too, you're going to the grocery store, get dressed in a way that makes you feel good. There is something to be said for when we look good, we feel good. And that honestly is true. And I don't know about you, but wearing scrubs all week, I love to actually have the opportunity to put together a casual outfit and even a little makeup on, even if it's for something simple like running errands. So dress for comfort, but also in a way that makes you feel good about yourself. Okay, so then back to grocery shopping. We are looking good, we're feeling good, we're going grocery shopping when we have a window of time. It is not a rushed process. And you know what? We're going to bring a treat with us, right? We're going to have probably a coffee in our hand and let's play a good playlist or podcast while we are walking through the grocery store. And just doing these few things turns a typical dreaded errand into an enjoyable activity. On that same note, let's make cooking a vibe. It's also so weird. I never say a vibe, but you know what? I wrote it down and I'm reading it. Okay, so in order to make cooking a vibe, we're going to light some candles. We're going to play romantic music or whatever it is you're in the mood for. Again, you could even put on your TV like the fire crackling scene or like light rain. I've seen different scenes like that you can put on your TV screen and it literally just like changes the whole ambience of the environment. And I don't know, pour yourself a glass of wine or make yourself a mocktail, whatever your preference is. And enjoy the process of food prepping, chopping and dicing, enjoy the sizzling of the cooking oil. And then when you're done, plate the food in a fun, aesthetically pleasing way. Use your nice place setting and your nice dishes. I always save my beautiful stuff for holidays, but at the same time, why do I only let myself use it once or twice a year? And I swear, Food tastes better when it looks good. Now, while on the topic of nourishment, let's also talk about hydration. Nurses carry around Stanley mugs like it's another appendage on their body, yet rarely do they actually drink what's inside. So, on your days off, especially, let's hydrate and consider adding sliced oranges, lemon, or a sliced cucumber to your water. Adding some natural flavor also just makes it more enjoyable to drink. All right, so let's pivot a bit. Another thing that we may want to consider adding into our romanticized rest day is movement and mindfulness. This might look like going for a walk in nature with no destination or no timeline. Maybe you're stretching with intention of gratitude, reflecting to carry you through long, busy, stressful, and physical work days. Some light movement ideas are a leisurely walk with your dog or a friend, gardening, yoga, or even maybe an easy cycling session. One of my favorite movement activities that is light and recharging is to actually sit on my Peloton bike for about 45 minutes and cycle at about a 50% exertion capacity while reading my favorite book. So I'm getting like this light sweat, but I'm not out of breath and it's not super strenuous. And movement actually can enhance your battery and recharge you. And this is also going to look very different for people. Maybe going to the gym or doing light cardio actually fills up your cup versus draining it. And if that's the case, then yeah, make time to go to the gym and incorporate this into your day. I would definitely just be mindful of avoiding strenuous activity if your goal is to rest and recharge. The key, again, is to embrace a type of movement that will leave you feeling refreshed, not drained, and to make it enjoyable. And now, of course, after talking about movement, we know that self-care doesn't only mean resting. It can also mean getting your environment organized. And honestly, this is pretty much meaning like doing some household chores. And there are people out there, I know you're probably listening, maybe you're one of them, who truly feel relaxed while cleaning. I am not one of them, okay? I don't find cleaning relaxing, but I will absolutely say that when the cleaning and organizing is said and done, I feel so good in a clutter-free and clean environment. My anxiety is at an all-time low and I feel like I can just breathe. So while you are wiping down countertops, washing dishes, changing your bed sheets, or folding laundry, let's romanticize it. Play your favorite podcast or put a show on in the background, or even one of those, like I said, calming scenes of a fire crackling or light rainstorm, whatever it is that you enjoy. I've done this for years now, and usually when I'm doing laundry or doing the dishes, I will listen to my favorite podcasts. And it makes even the most mundane tasks so much more enjoyable. I have a lot of friends that actually do like audiobooks. That's their jam. They'll pick an audiobook and they will do some kind of chore task, whatever it is, in their house. And again, it makes it more fun. Okay, so let's end this rest day with an evening reset. Here, I want you to consider ending that restful recharge day with a shower or bath. I've recently discovered the concept of an everything shower, and who knows, maybe you already know what this is, but it actually means going like all out for your shower. Okay, so we are lighting candles, we are playing soft music, and we're taking a long shower to literally like clean, prune, whatever you want to call it, everything. So you are washing your hair, and for most girls, hair washing day is quite the process. You're shaving, you're exfoliating, you're conditioning, and you're just enjoying the hot water on your body. I also like to put a hair mask on my hair earlier that same day if I'm planning an everything shower. And I also like to put on a teeth whitening strip before my shower and wear it throughout my shower. So by the end of the shower, I can remove it because time is up on that strip. When your shower's done, that's not the end of this romanticizing shower activity, okay? Now we are going to take time for skincare, hair care, and your typical bedtime tasks like whatever your like oral hygiene process is, right? Flossing, mouthwash, brushing your teeth, whatever that looks like for you. And then we can put on a nice pair of clean, fresh pajamas. And hopefully we have a set of fresh bed sheets on our bed. Preferably you do that before you jump in the shower so that when you're relaxed, relaxed, you're not, then changing out your sheets. If you have a diffuser, diffuse lavender or scents that are calming. And be sure to take time during this process to reflect on what went right this week. And maybe even think of a few small things that you're really grateful for. I know there are some of you that are rolling your eyes at some of these ideas, probably thinking, this is ridiculous. I need to get things done, not spend time strolling around a grocery store or taking an hour-long shower. But I get it. Like, this concept is not for everyone. However, I do believe it may be more recharging than you realize and more powerful than you realize. To romanticize your life is to make it feel like a movie, okay? And a movie that you are starring in and you love being in. And we're not changing the plot here, but we're actually sort of just enhancing the lighting, the music, the ambiance, and honestly, that comes down to the feeling. It's about slowing down enough to realize that even small, ordinary things like your morning commute, your first sip of coffee after a night shift can be sacred if you let them. I want you to pick one thing in your life and try romanticizing it. Maybe it's your commute to work, like me, or it's your rest day, or maybe it's your shower experience, or the way that you grocery shop. Whatever it is, just find a way to make it slower and more enjoyable. I do not think you'll regret it. Okay, if today's show resonates with you, leave a review or rating. If you have a friend that needs to recognize that they are the main character of their own rom-com, send this to them. And remember the message of the song Opalite. Happiness can be man-made and still beautiful, just like this gem. As always, I have one hand for me and the other for you. Signing off. Well, that's it for today's episode of Life After Nursing School. I hope you feel more confident and ready to tackle the challenges that come with starting your nursing career. Remember, the first year or two might not be easy, but with the right mindset, you can overcome anything. If you found value in today's episode, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. Also, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform. It helps so much in reaching other new nurses like you. Thanks for listening, and remember, you've got this. Take care and see you next time.